So that person did complete market study. That person did complete job evaluation. The person was sitting somewhere at a very low, like, the single digit number, but the person asked me about a double digit number, and that is to the, in 1920s type. And that person simply said, see, I know I'm currently sitting at this package, but the kind of role that I'm getting into, it is sitting, the worth of that role is this particular package. If you go to the market, these are the market standard, these are the B2C company, these are the internet companies, and the entire study that he has done, I was thinking he has done more study than me, when it comes to the execution at that time. And he cracked the deal. Because at that time I did not have any answer, because whatever he was talking, it was logical.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Weekday show. I'm your host, Amit Singh, founder and CEO of Weekday, a hiring marketplace where job seekers can 8x their chances of finding their perfect job, and recruiters can supercharge their productivity by accessing the largest database of talent in the country. We have 80% of white-collar workforce of India on our platform. Check out Weekday at weekday.works. Happy to present to you the Weekday show, where recruitment leaders share actionable insights and answer the most common hiring FAQs, and explore the hiring process from both sides and dissect real-life interview scenarios. Our guest for today is Richa Chauhan, who is the Director of Talent Acquisition at Shaadi.com. She has more than 15 years of experience in the HR sector. Welcome, Richa. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Amit. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Great. Great to have you on the show. So for today, we'll have broadly two sections. The first is rapid fire, a term that we generally use very loosely. So you can choose to not be rapid as well.
Okay.
So we'll have a few questions, and then post that we'll deep dive into your journey as a recruitment leader and what other people can learn from it.
Sure.
All right. So the first question: what is the best answer you've heard of the typical question asked at the end of interviews, which is, do you have any questions for me?
So I would say best, or I should say a funny response that I got from this. So I was taking one interview and I just asked, okay, what is do you want to ask any question? And he said, no, I don't want to ask any question. I just have, where's the washroom? So I was like, okay. Because the AC was very strong, and he's like, no, I just want to know. I said, okay, no problem. So that was, I think, the funniest, I would say, the response that I got from this kind of question, which I never expected. So yeah. So that.
But do you think people not having questions is something that is discouraged?
I always appreciate those candidates who ask question. But one thing is, one should not ask question just for the sake of asking question. It has to have some sort of meaning attached to it. I have seen couple of times, because a lot of material available in on internet, and they have a lot of questions, and they question what should be the ideal answer if you ask this sort of question. So I think a lot of journals where it is mentioned if you have to ask question at the end of the interview. And sometimes people ask very stupid question, and they ask you, okay, what will be my role in this job? And I was like, bhai, you have read the entire job description. I have completed my entire Ram Katha, and now you're asking me what is expected out of me. So just for the sake of question, one should not ask question. But if yes, you have, for example, if you want to ask, okay, what are the future plans for this role? What is my career journey? How it's going to be? What is the scale of this role? Those kind of questions are meaningful, which you really want to ask. So that makes sense, but not just for the sake of asking question. One should ask question, because that's actually act as a take your journey in the reverse gear. When it comes to the interview process. So
okay.
Yeah.
The next one: what is the best answer to the typical introductory question? Tell me about yourself that you've heard.
I would say, so I'm just changing, sorry, Amit, but the question, so I met one candidate and I was taking an interview for the HR business partner. And I just asked, okay, tell me something about yourself. And the person was not talking about himself or herself. I don't want to mention the gender also, because I want to make it very discreet. But that person was only talking about, I have gone through the profile, I have gone through your profile, I have gone through your CHRO's profile, I have gone through, so all those things, that person was just talking about, what he or she has researched about the profile. but the question remained the same. Okay, tell me something about yourself. So yeah, so these kind of questions, I mean responses, sometime like you take us, a backseat. Why this person is asking so much, in this manner.
Okay, so that would be the worst one.
Yeah, that was the worst.
What is the best one you've heard?
If I talk about the best answer that I have received, I think a lot of, it's not just the one, I would say, a lot of time. See, I would say when somebody asks you, tell me something about yourself, I think the person has to give answer in a very organized manner. When people give answer in a very organized manner and make it, very limited, when concise and precise, this is what an interviewer expect. So anybody giving me very organized answer and concise and precise answer, I consider that answer as a, best answer for
So,
any.
like, just as a follow up to that, uh, like whenever there's a like an interview, right? Like people have already have the resume. So, what is the purpose of this question? Is there any hidden sort of thing that people could expect from the question? Tell me about yourself. If the resume that like they have already gone through the resume or have gone through the profile.
So, see, the smart way to answer this question is you have already got the JD right before coming for the interview. Go through the JD, align your role with that JD, and then talk about yourself. Because person wants to know more about what is relevant for me if I'm taking this person, in my company. So let's say if I'm hiring somebody for the talent acquisition, let's say. So the person, when I ask that person, okay, tell me something about yourself, first 30 seconds you just talk about, okay, I have this many of years of experience, I have done this, I have done this in talent acquisition is more relevant to me, I want to know. Rather, let's say if I'm started talking about I have done this certification which has no relevance to my current role, will not interest me, because that is none of my business. Keep what you have done extra apart from your current role. Maybe that question I will ask you, any other extracurricular that you have done, then you can answer those questions. But objective of asking this question is, I want to know why should I hire you, basically. And that's the tricky way, but people find it and they just started telling, ki, okay, I have started working from this company to this company and that company. And sometimes even in my, even yesterday I was talking to someone at a leadership level, and that person was giving his own introduction for almost 15 minutes. And I was just listening. So I was like, hey, when somebody's asking, tell me something about yourself, you just align yourself with the JD and then talk about what exactly have you done related with the job description. So that way.
And what's the ideal length of that answer? Like, should it end at like, for example, that person answered in 15 minutes?
See, like you said earlier, you guys used to have a podcast of 1 hour and then you guys cut it down to 30 minutes. So, attention span is very less now these days. And that's why that test cricket has converted into one day has converted into 20, T20. And then I don't know, the time will come and it converted into only 10 overs or 5 overs. So I think first 5 to 7 minutes are good amount of time for you to explain yourself, because after that the person is not listening, to be very honest. Because the span of attention is like, yeah, okay, will listen just for the sake of listening, will not understand, will not have any interest. So that ways, I think 5 to 7 minutes are good for somebody to tell about themselves. And then later on the discussion will go on and then it will have more relevance to that.
Got it. All right. The next one. What is your favorite interview question to ask?
My favorite interview question is, tell me any mistake that you have done in your past career, and what have you learned from that. So this is my best question that I love this question when I ask, because I get to know, okay, whether the person really acknowledges, yes, the person has made a mistake, because each one of us, none of us are perfect. Once in a life we will definitely make any sort of mistake. And if I'm learning from my mistake, so then I really love that those sort of people who really learn from their mistakes. So for me personally, if you ask me, I have this question which I really like.
And what is the worst answer you've gotten to this question?
If I say, people are like, they started talking about very irrelevant thing. Yeah, I did something with my team member. I did something in my personal life. I did something with my girlfriend. Sometimes I have got those kind of also response. But when you are sitting in a professional interview, people are more curious about your professional mistake. Then I had to, tell them, okay, can we talk about your professional mistakes if you have done in your career? So yeah.
What is the best salary negotiation conversation that you remember? Like, how should one do salary negotiations?
Okay, salary negotiation. There are a couple of, it's not just one. There are a lot of salary negotiation which personally I really liked while interacting with those folks. Reason being, so there was one, not in this company, in my previous organization, we hired somebody who was sitting at very high package, and my budget was not that. So what we did is we called that person to our office, and we asked that person to, sit in the office for almost a day, and then we were like, I took him for a tea break, then I took him for the lunch, and then the entire day the negotiation went on. I said, okay, you take your time, you watch something, and then at the end of the day we closed the entire discussion. So that was one of those example I would talk about where we negotiate. The person was sitting at a very high cost, and then we, brought him down to the next level, whatever is my pocket friendly budget, kind of thing. So that ways, yeah. And the other negotiation I can also talk about, we were doing some negotiation with the product management team, and the respective team member was struggling in terms of negotiation. So sometimes you have to just say, "Okay, this is the role, this is the budget, and this is the market scenario, whether you want to take it or you want to leave it." So sometimes you have to be very upfront with the candidate because sometimes people just play around it. So yeah, that is also one of those discussions that
But
I.
if you look at it from the candidate perspective, like how should a candidate who's looking to join a company do salary negotiation from that lens?
Oh, from that angle, if you ask me, yeah, they are. The person was like I want to take that. I don't want to take that person name, but this was one of the finance position that we were closing, and that person was, first of all, he was a finance person. So of course he was thorough with the numbers and everything. Market study he has done thoroughly. He has done the market study, and when at the moment I was saying something, he was countering me. Every time that person was countering me. And the best, and I really respect those folks who really talk, something logical when they are doing a salary negotiation, not just throwing out random numbers. So that person did complete market study. That person did complete job evaluation. The person was sitting somewhere at a very low, like, in a single digit number, but the person asked me about a double digit number, and that is to the, in 1920s type. And that person simply said, "You see, I know I am currently sitting at this package, but the kind of role that I'm getting into, it is sitting, the worth of that role is this particular package. If you go to the market, these are the market standard, these are the B2C company, these are the internet companies, and the entire study that he has done, I was thinking he has done more study than me, when it comes to negotiation at that time. And he cracked the deal. Because at that time I did not have any answer because whatever he was talking, it was logical. And we went beyond our budget and we closed the requirement. So yeah, so you need to do a thorough study about your worth. Sometimes people throw random numbers, doesn't make any sense. Every time it's not necessary that you have to ask for 30-40% hike because gone are those days. But you need to do yourself, study. You need to do your homework. You need to do your research work. That what is the worth of the job, that you are getting into. What is the market intelligence, and then come back with the number for that.
Got it. All right. The last one in rapid fire. What is the best way a candidate has expressed their enthusiasm for an opportunity? And like, how much difference does that enthusiasm really make? Like, is it all skills, or is it enthusiasm also, or that
I think
interest
it
also makes
makes
a difference?
lot of difference. It makes lot of difference because I have seen there's one person recently I would talk about that. So that person was selected, right? It's not that the person was selected, the person was offered. But I think every after, third day and fourth day, because we were pushing that person to join early, every after third and fourth day, even if my team is not calling. However, my role was not there into negotiation because the other person who was reporting to me was negotiating with that person and dealing with that person's relieving and resignation acceptance and everything. But that because I took the interview, so he had my number also, because I took the final round or something. So he had my number also. Every after third day or fourth day, that person was calling me, ma'am, I am not getting the leaving, but I am fighting for it and all those stuff. And then again, another third day, I've spoken to my HR head, I've spoken to my business head, I've spoken. So each and every step, he himself was, and then I have put in my resignation on the system. Sometimes it may find, yeah, it's very irritating, but the enthu was at the next level. And even when you feel, yeah, the person is really keen in terms of joining, and we could understand, okay, the person was struggling in terms of getting relieving, but he's trying his luck hard in terms of joining us. So those kind of enthusiasm really works well for any organization.
And the fact that they're keeping you in the loop as well, like what
Yeah,
is happening,
keeping
you're
you
not in the
updated
dark.
what's happening. Yeah, we are not in dark, what is happening, what is not happening. So yeah, that's
All
correct.
right, great. That brings us to the end of the first segment. We'll move on to the next one. So let's start with broadly your journey and what made you choose recruiting or HR in general, and what are the decision factors that were playing in your mind when you made that call?
Okay. If I talk about my HR journey, I always wanted to be in HR. It's not that I don't want to be in HR. I mean, I didn't want to be in HR. I wanted to be a part of HR. I did my MBA in HR also. But when it comes to the recruiting, it's an accidental thing that happened, because I always wanted to be a part of a BPHR, employee relation, and those sort of thing. But somehow what happened, in fact, just before this call, I was talking to someone, and one of my intern asked me, what was your aspiration when you were at my age? I said, I'm an accidental recruiter. uh, and the reason is because the moment I joined, something, let's say, went wrong, I don't know, but I always dragged in recruitment somehow. And I did pretty well in that recruitment. Things worked well. Maybe God was so gracious with me, or quite kind to me. So things sorted out, settled down. So somehow I always dragged into recruitment, and then eventually I got into recruitment only. So yeah, that ways. But recruitment is something. Initially, when I started, I didn't like recruitment. To be very honest, like I said, I'm an accidental recruiter.
Why is that? Why did you not like it?
I mean, talking to continuously taking interviews, and it's very monotonous thing. To be very honest, at that time, I used to think that way, because at that time the knowledge that I had about the talent acquisition as a piece, as a role, was very limited when I started, right? For me, it was like just sourcing, sitting, taking interviews and all. But eventually, when I grew in this career, then I realized that it's vast. There are a lot of stuff which is revolve around it. You have a say in terms of company growth. You play important role in like in expansion. So that's how then I started enjoying those numbers. I started enjoying those drives. I started enjoying driving people. I started enjoying those pressure. Somehow, when it's come, when my team says कि positions कम हो गई हो, then at that time I start feeling कि अरे कुछ fair है, लगता है job safe नहीं है team की. When more position means the job is safe for the recruiters, because the moment you have lesser position, you think कि अच्छा अभी मैं इसकी cost कैसे justify करूंगी. So those kind of things. So now I started enjoying numbers, and that's how I started liking recruitment.
Are you struggling to hire talent? At Weekday, we have built a database of 80% of white collar workforce with their email, phone number, resume, and salary details. And you can send automated email plus WhatsApp plus call sequences to them. Yes, we call candidates on your behalf as well. Because India runs on WhatsApp and calls, we end up getting as high as 40% response rate. Gone are the days of sending a LinkedIn invite and waiting for days for someone to accept. Just use Weekday. Whether you are looking for a database to supercharge the productivity of your recruiters, or you're looking at a complete AI recruiter to do everything for you, we have a solution for you. Visit weekday.works to know more. And let's talk about recruitment a little bit. So for most candidates, like when they like sort of their exposure to how recruitment works is either uh, either like an external recruiter or a recruiter contacts them and they sort of get in touch, or they apply on a careers portal,
Both
jobs,
ways.
etc.
Both ways. It happened both ways. So we have, if you talk from Shadi per se only, we have our internal career page, we have our internal ATS. Uh, so what happened? Let's say that any position comes up. Sometimes people keep on. We have open positions, lying on our career page, and it goes to LinkedIn automatically on Naukri and all. So one way, we have a position, we post it on social media and the job sites, right? The other way is people want to work with Shadi, so they send CVs and they ask if if we have any role matching to their profile, and then they send the profile directly to me, directly to the recruitment team, directly to the head HR, directly to the tech team through their references. So it happened both ways. Yeah.
But what would you say is the best way if someone has to increase their chances and are willing to go the extra mile, they have that drive and they really want to work at Chai.com? Like, what is the best way they could approach this whole
See,
piece wherein they are at
best
least interviewed by someone?
Yeah. See, the best way is to apply online. In parallel, go to the respective recruiter of the current organization through LinkedIn and directly contact the recruiter. Because what happens, let's say every day if I'm getting, let's say 500 applications for the particular role, right? We do have AIs, we do have, AI screening based thing, everything is there. But sometimes, technology also fails, So for one recruiter to screen all those 500 profiles, obviously not possible. Through AI also, sometimes it happens, some mistakes happen. But when the respective person is directly contacting recruiter, that hey, I have applied on this particular with the job ID, I have applied for this role, I have done this. Can you please take my profile ahead? And then, because recruiter is also looking for a job, looking for the candidate. So in that case, the person will immediately, get that attention from the recruiter, and the recruiter will take the profile and put it on the fast track. So you should go for both the ways. One is apply online and directly contact the recruiter through LinkedIn.
Okay. And like for example, like getting referral is that something that you should pursue?
Yeah,
Like
why
okay,
not?
I'll
Hi.
try to message people on who
Yeah,
are
yeah.
already working in HR.
Don't spam somebody's inbox. I have seen sometime there are a lot of desperate candidate. What they do is they send their profile to everybody. They start sending connect to everyone in the company. Like, so the moment I have profile from my business head or my chief business officer or my head HR, I also have that profile. My team also has this profile. Then we feel, kya hua? Matlab, is the person not getting job? Or what's wrong with the candidate? So we feel कि it's an active seeker. Maybe so one impression is कि okay, maybe the person is not getting job and that's why the person is applying everywhere in the same company. So don't target the right people. For example, let's say you are a software developer, right? So go to the LinkedIn. First, you see the job openings are there or not. If there are job openings, apply on the job posting. Plus, go to the tech team who is actually working in the in this particular backend development team, and then reach out to that person. So, for example, let's say you are a backend developer, you're looking for a job in backend development, but you're going to the marketing folk. It will not help, because when the reference to the HR team is coming from the tech team, it has more weightage because the role is for tech. When somebody, let's say if you're a marketing person and you're reaching out to the marketing folks in the respective organization, then when the recruiter is getting profile from the marketing team, then it has more weightage because they feel कि, okay, the person has connected the, if it is coming from the marketing team for their own team, that means the person is more relevant, right? So that ways. So apart from reaching out the recruiter, you can reach out to the respective team, but for your respect, matching role, not the diverse role. Like you are sitting in marketing, but you're looking for, you are applying or reaching out to a CTO. Then it does not make any sense. Well, the chances of getting shortlisted are very low in that scenario because
Yeah,
CTO
so
will just send
just
a
from
profile.
like a candidate's point of view, the reason why, like in my interaction, like the reason why a lot of people do that is what's the harm? That
What's the
I'll
harm?
reach out to more people. What's the harm in that? But what you're saying is that there actually is harm because it also sends a negative signal.
Yeah, because they're saying, yeah, this person is reaching out to everybody, and then somebody, recruiter will feel, yeah, whether the profile is really worth because he's reaching out to everybody. There's no direction. So it is always better to target the audience and then do it. It's like a marketing, right? Like you are sending, like if you are marketing your product, you have to find out your target audience, and then only you have to launch your product. If you are launching your product in a wrong audience, you will not get success. So that is, and getting hired is nothing, it's just marketing yourself.
So let's just diving a little deeper on how, for example, like recruiting works. For a, let's say, let's take an example of a typical opening. Let's say it is a marketing opening. For that, like how many applicants you in general get? Uh, then from what is the steps from there on is let's say first you look at all the people that have applied and then you go look at the market, or how exactly does that work?
So let's say if we have any position, let's say one position comes, and let's say take example, let's say digital marketing, right? So it all depends. at what level this position is coming. Let's say that the position is coming at a leadership level. Generally, we if it is very senior position, we sometimes avoid putting it on social media because a lot of confidentiality is also attached to few positions. So we directly headhunt and reach out to the people, or we take help from the consultant, right? If it is a leadership position and very confidential position, we don't want to make it too much public. So this is one part, right? Second part is the leadership position is there, but we are okay to make it public, right? The next level. In those scenarios, we can make it public. We can post it on the respective this thing. We will and we'll follow the two-way process. One is getting applicants from the system, that is from ATS, because ATS is auto linked with respective job portals.
Yeah, ATS is applicant tracking system.
Yeah, it is the application tracking system. So the moment we push job on ATS, the respective jobs, opening will go and publish on respective job platforms. Like LinkedIn is one of them, and then we start getting application, and the recruiter will start screening. The other way is the recruiter himself go on LinkedIn or go on Naukri or go on IIMJobs or go on the various multiple platform and identify or headhunt those profiles from the respective this thing. So everything works in parallel. It's not like the first we'll do this and second we'll do that, because we have to just increase the objective is to increase the pipeline and increase the talent pool. How soon we can increase the talent pool, because more relevant talent pool will have more chances of getting closure, that means.
But for example, for let's take the example of digital marketing leadership position, what percentage would it be inbound that is like coming from these job boards and ATS versus outbound wherein you are like reaching out and headhunting?
No, it is always the inbound is more, because it is organically the profiles are coming.
Yeah.
Right. You posted it and automatically everywhere the job postings has gone, and profiles started coming in. So organically the profiles are coming.
Yeah, but
Right.
I'm assuming that a lot of them would not be relevant also. So let's take an example of the ones that you would want to interview.
See, if we talk about the relevancy, because we have this ATS, so irrelevant profile will come for sure. The irrelevant profile will come.
Yeah.
But if you talk about relevant profile, then of course the head hunting will work in a better way.
Okay. And is it always like 50-50 or is it like 70% inbound and 30% outbound?
You can say 60-40 types.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Currently, let's say if it is, let's say I've put in my resume on CareerSpace, I've done the exercise of like finding the recruiter, message them. What exactly should I do or mention in my resume? Should I tailor each resume, like the resume that I'm sending based on the role, or should I have like a catch-all resume and expect that personalization would probably happen at the interview stage?
Before answering this question, Amit, first of all, I want to tell all the candidates, because a lot of resume builders are there in the market right now, right? And now recruiters are very smart. The moment they see the CV, they get to know it is a AI built CV. So no matter how beautiful are you putting that resume, recruiter will catch it. Immediately the recruiter will catch it. In fact, initially they were not able to catch it, but because they know now, if I talk about 1 year before or 2 year before, it was very difficult for a recruiter to catch those sort of profile. But now, because with this experience, they have been seen that every CV is the perfect CV, coming beautiful CV, beautiful format. So recruiter can catch it very easily. Second, I'm not saying that you have to tailor made your profile every time, because sometimes if you're tailoring it, as per the requirement, somewhere you are manipulating the information. Sometimes, right? Whatever you have done, make it in a very systematic way. For example, if I talk about let's say if I talk about, let's say, branding profile, right? And this branding profile also needs, however this combination doesn't exist, but I'm just taking example. Let's say branding profile also needs a performance marketing, a gist of marketing profile, right? Because there may be some mid-size or small size organization where the marketing person is doing performance marketing also, and the person is doing a branding also, right? Now there is one position come from a mid-size organization, the better organization, only for brand marketing. Don't, you just have to do it. What you can do is you can just highlight your brand marketing work in that say, right? But don't put things which you have not done. So what
But
people,
should I hide my digital marketing experience, or
no,
should I
not
remove
required. Don't hide it because it's a marketing work, but highlight your brand marketing work as per the requirement that you are applying for. And be it with your digital marketing because that's your experience that you have worked, right? Don't hide it. But don't put those things which you have not done in brand marketing. What people do, because of these resume builders, AI based, resume makers and all, they put all those stuff which is mentioned in JD. They get shortlisted because of the AI screening, auto screening process. But when the person is actually talking to a candidate, they get to know that the person has not done those things which the person has written on the CV. And that's, in a way, creates a negative impact on the organization because you're wasting your time as well as your recruiter or your, organization time. So highlight those things which you have done as per the role and just go ahead and people will, people respect your work. It's not that, but if you fake it, people will not respect it and it will go in a negative way. It will backfire you basically.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the AI screening that you mentioned on ATS level. Right? How exactly does that work? And we can take an example of any ATS or any example for that matter. But does it work on keyword basis, or how exactly does that do?
AI, it's a system, right? It's a technology. Technology will not think. You can drive technology, right? More perfect your JD would be, more chances of getting relevant profile would be. For example, as a recruiter, sometimes we what we do is we put a lot of stuff, in the JD, and that's how the we start getting irrelevant profile. Make your JD very very specific, because your the algorithm which is behind your that matching of your profile with the JD, that we call it the mapping of those profiles, it depending upon the few basic screening questions and the skill set. Basic screening question are your current package, your expectation, your notice period, your current location, your current skill set, right? So these are the 5 6 parameters on which any AI driven screening system, take the name of any ATS, they work that ways. Right now when I talk about keywords, you have to put keyword that you are actually looking forward. Don't write too much of flowery or glamorous words in your JD. Make it very simple so that okay, the way, like I said, it's a two-way thing. Like I said, as a candidate you have to highlight those things which you have done as per the role. Similarly, as a recruiter, you need to highlight those things which you are looking must have requirement in your for the candidate. So it's like for the candidate also the same rule applies, and for the recruiter also the same rule applies. The problem today in today's world is because of because of this chat GPT. No offense to chat GPT. The moment you put any job description for social media marketing, you will get 1,000 page JD also on that. It's all depend how you are giving a prompt, because everybody is a prompt engineer these days. So the what kind of prompt that you're giving to chat GPT, you have to make it very simple and concise. And today people make a very generic JD, right? 3 pager JD चला आ रहा है, लोग उसको पढ़ भी नहीं रहे हैं, and कुछ भी चला रहा है kind of. So you have to make it very one pager JD which you are actually looking forward in the candidate, and that's how you can get a relevant profile in your ATS.
All right. The last question. What advice would you give to like job seekers which you have not given so far?
To any job seeker, the advice that I would like to give is, if I talk about, so I'll divide into two parts. One, during the interview and while applying. Don't apply randomly to any job because it's not going to help. Just sit, spend time on your role, see your CV, and just see what are the things that you have done, and then apply to the relevant jobs only. Because sometimes what happens if we reply, we apply to the irrelevant job which are not matching to us, then we get into frustration that we are not getting a good job. Just sit on your role and then see what kind of jobs are available, and then apply to the relevant jobs and reach out to the recruiter accordingly. While sitting in the interview, the only advice I have to the job seekers is be honest and just be yourself. Whatever you have done, just talk about that. You don't have to talk about unnecessary things that you have not done, because recruiters are very smart, interviewers are very smart, they are the expert who are evaluating you. They will catch you. And when they catch you, then it will be like it goes against you. So whatever you know, you say, "Okay, this is what I am." Elaborate on those part. The thing that you have not done, just accept it and just say, "I think I have not done this. So I think I need to work on this part." And recruiter will respect that part. Okay, these are things that person has not done. So yeah, because even if you, let's say, by faking, maybe you get shortlisted also, may get selected, get an offer. After landing in that job, you'll be in trouble because you will not be able to perform, right? So there's no point of just faking or something. So be yourself, be honest, and that's it. If I talk about the recruiters,
Yeah.
focus on candidate experience. Respect your candidate, because that is something which is very very important. Respond to your candidate on time. Be approachable for your
But
candidates.
let's say there are a lot of external factors because of which I'm not able to respond in time, or I'm waiting for someone else's.
What could be your external factors? Today we have ATS. Everybody, most of the companies are using ATS. You have templatized, this thing, messages are given. You just, if the person is reject, you have to just mention the person is reject. That's it. Giving feedback on time can never be a challenge, I think. If the person is on hold, just say the person is on hold. If the person is not rejected, just say in a nice manner, in a polite manner, in a subtle way, that yes, you are not a right fit for this role. That's it. No external factor is, refraining you from not giving feedback to your candidate and spoiling your candidate experience. So that is.
Okay, all right. That brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, Richard. This was great. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Amit.
sharing
Thank you so
so many
much.
great
Yeah.
insights with us.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Bye bye.
Are you looking for a job? You can 8x your chances of getting one by using Weekday. How 8x? By doubling the chances on three fronts: referrals, customizing your resume, and applying to double the jobs. Weekday can help you on all three fronts. Did you know that you can double your chances of getting a job by asking referrals? You can do that via Weekday by just one click, where people can give referrals to the existing companies via the Weekday platform. The second one is customizing your resume for every role. Did you know that 60% of the applicants of a job are never seen by a human recruiter? You can double your chances by customizing your resume based on every job posted. Well, it's not feasible to do that. You can do that via AI. So, Weekdays Chrome extension allows you to customize your resume for any job. The third front is applying to double the jobs. Imagine if there was an easy apply on every careers job posted everywhere. What we allow via front end automations is that you can just click once and no need to fill multiple long forms on every careers page. Give that information to us once and utilize it everywhere else.